My page is torn with stains of food, polyphagus songs spawned from my book, showing the rib cage with my brains in a quad. I'm locked up with no time, my own life's a sure sign, indefinite perspective. This world's blind worldwide. From this very start of time to the curl of the twine, precisely our time was finished when the serpents were our gods. In the word of their minds, our lives will coincide to be the builders. Backbreakers cold, a feud of charcoal fire. The more tired, the more expired we get, then reset. Eating flesh, the human being next. Now he or she stressed. These teachings are only secrets because they were stolen and rewrit to present us with the demon's religion to breed men. But me and AP been seeing. That's why the quote we in needs no 2-U-R-E at the end. Tell me who was this treason to? Who was my leader? Just because it's just a deck to speech, please. Guess that makes you plebeious? Nope. Yo, you got a drop of bravery in your spirit, so save it for the mirror because courageous ain't trying to hear it. Ego tripping. I free low bitches. Stephen Seagal with Desert Eagles on a speedboat mission. I fire torpedoes, mean submarine boat missiles. You'll clean the semen off your steamboat with deep tongue tissue. It's the invasion of the outer spacemen. Aliens from the planet Space Jam attack grass farms of radiation. My Asian-made footwear was made for aviation. Aerosol inflation able to carry me to Asia. For any slick reply, my non got a question. How strong are your calf muscles? How quick are your reflexes? This is Tekken. Train to the soundtrack of Goodfellas on a mountaintop. Haiichi Mishima's resurrection. You're a sacrificial lamb. The holy lands are filled with grass and you're able to rap. Your own brother's blood will stain your hands. Slay you with the strength of Plato with the pen and make sane angels in the concrete when I wave my hands. So say your fucking breath for I break your fucking chest like tectonic plates. My seismic weight on a scale. Change your cells into rebates. Re-exchange them through mail. You'll telethon CD on PBS to make up the sales. Call the operator to hell and place your bet on one day. Aims will block the interface of AOL. While the silence breaks and I stay to myself. Say to myself, don't break, cause what you're made of is steel. For real Iron Man made a real iron shield in the fields doing slave work. That's how I gain my build. The offering of God, the devil's promise bleeds in the coffin that your body's in on Homer's Odyssey. Oedipus didn't get hit from the Sphinx he visited. He called on me, the Greek god of knowledge, to answer it. It's drastic, a craft is perfected. You'll collapse from bacteria that traveled to Earth from an asteroid wreckage. Everything is momentary. Hope's the only thing we carry, but we stone our Jesuses and try to bone our Marys. Our modern day prophets are martyrs. We gather in groups to shun the coldness, yo, so who's lamb for the slaughter? You can come close just for your own personal note, but no, there's no touching when observing a ghost. I'm just a soul, I've discarded my flesh. I still credit it, but its reaction is false and I avoid identity theft. Living lost, I'm poor, so they want to kill my spirit off until my art is on museum walls like the movie Prison Song. Taking Kodak pictures, take the lens cap off. My view of my niggas in my life can make even Rembrandt awe. A picture from your spirit can't have any flaws. It reflects you. They don't respect you. To what does that matter at all? Street dreams for the kings, paupers eyeball the throne until it's all said and done from the tongue. And cipher one. Father Time must have lost his mind, giving free refills on sand in this hourglass of mine. Now I can rhyme for infinity, shine illuminately, giving respiratory breath continuously till I revive the industry. Unconvinced a lung could pump shit as sick as this, even if it suffered from the virulence of cigarettes. I spit venomous sentences that's instant death when it's injected in your penetrative flesh. Nigga, respect. The bosses break bread on a table of bloodshed, cause self-sacrifice is headway for your success. Let this be the toast of our day of a comeuppance. Consecutive move makers ride every day till it's done with. So what the word be? Knowles always be searching. Certiole with Cersei. If there's a Lord, have mercy, cause the world's cursed me to this earthly suffering. And it's hard to stay strong when your brain muscle can shrink from the weed and psychological stress. Endure from reality and hypothetical sense when just a thought can make shit real. This dream exists through my interpretation of its creation. The only way my fate can change is through that manipulation. Through the cages exist that I place myself in to be told is to be made feel away in any situation. So the origins of my self-talk thoughts are unsolved and have to be studied for the answers I seek this world call. For me to be the person I want, I have to know why I want it. And then that answer prioritizes my calling. I'd rather call it that than life because life is too vague. The logic of life roommates your brain with too much reality. Whereas your calling exists simply in the nature of vibe. How do you know that's not a UFO? Only because planes fly? Think deeper than the surface reaction. It has been a program like the channels you flash and believe what you haven't seen more than what you've seen, because what you've seen is only based on consciousness of human being. It was all a dream. From the food stamps to 10 G's, existing moments are only temporary and progress is everything. My nigga, just remember that. And if your skin is black doesn't mean you're trapped. You just got a more difficult task. In fact, working harder means learning smarter. Your head start was being born into this world knowing its problems. Growing up without a father or mother, or even both, and not even knowing your origins. Identifying with the ghetto which is a trap which is really a task. 3 roads, there's either freedom, prison, or death. It's hard to know which one you're choosing because they're guarded by illusions, confusing you until you just lose it. Human is a strange animal in evolution that uses brain to produce sewage and mass pollution. Silicon dust from Flint's to caveman mold that gave the pneumoconiosis the early mine workers' death. Inhaling that dry chemical air rose mortality ratings of mine workers that began to die at early ages. So the Egyptians began to slave criminals in their caves, and when they started dying off fast, that halted excavation. Do we think it just create destruction, trial and error can make it hard for you to truly smile in the mirror? I look at a painting and see a manifestation of making an artist's self-reflection reflection, void of outside creation. I feel like them geometric designs on Greek vases displaying the God through equations, programmed faces, modern ages. We code the web design pages, fathers of our matrix, teenagers in their mom's basement. The feds feeding them bread to keep getting in our heads, program stress and regret like the 9/11 event. And life is like a bicycle ride because we're the tires that tread, going in a circle, the one that's behind following the one that's ahead, while the other rider controls both wheels and pedal as he feels. He chooses the motion and terrain of the tires under his heels. I hope this can show you who knows the program, the two sides of control, and which one should be chosen. Notice how I use metaphors for the world instead of actually saying what I mean. I hope that tells you about the world. I speak to you because the earth speaks through me. A dog nudges his bowl to let you know he wants to eat. Insert slot A in a slot B. Have a seat. The seat is almost ready. Pregnancy's 180 weeks. Anything you put together, you give birth to. You have to wait full circle to show you its fruit. We bear the flesh that the weather of our upbringing gave to us, and that was what the harp angel sang as love. Noel, Noel, the king of Israel. If impossible, his offspring would be the princes of hell. I was just at peace and I heard you have mail. I moved the cursor to the window and felt an anthrax smell. What's happening? Am I imagining this telltale tale? I can't ignore the feeling, but it's beyond reality's realm. So how is it real? Regardless, though, I'm not going to click it. I trust my intuition, and thus I've uncovered my vision. Life is a mission. I feel like I'm almost reaching my limits, but what is the limit? Breaking to the other side, and what is the other side after the passing of my life? Will I be the eye for my family, or simply light life void of the wise, belonging to the love all around me, feeling strongly for what the us is and knowing that everything's family? It can't be. This momentary life is preparing me by tearing me from those who I love, making them mad at me, assassinating me, because God's word is not to forsake thy brother, thou shalt love him. But when I tell him of my concerns, I'm bugging. If it hurts my heart to see my partner hurt another for no reason, I'm supposed to just shrug it off and not even nudge him. But God also says that every sin shall be punished, and punishment is but my words are concerned, yet I get nothing but them turning against me, wanting to lynch me, to hit me and spit at me, put them burn the grubs on, rip me. I must be of the earth because both our lives are resembling the love for what we live with that only gets us beat. I hit the street and crack my fist, my wrist bleeds, showing me that my flesh can't physically change anything. I'll only get hurt in the process, but I'm not dead, I'm crippled, showing me that the hurt was only to give me knowledge. I love life and all its prospects and everything that's lockedness. I respect this aids me and try not to have regrets. Not everything was meant for my eyes to see, not yet. I fly above the stars of the Palestinians, now Irans, the Jewish that lived in peace with the Muslims and Christians, let the Britons corrupt their religion because by money they was tempted. That awful killings, the slaughtering of their kin who were kind enough to let them back in even though betrayal is a sin. These people can't get away with this. They can't live forever. But even when they die, they have children that inherit the treasure, belonging to a throne built on bones they don't even know. They just hold it's the job to do what they were raised to own. Human slave and suffering becomes something that's normal to program into thinking this is how the world goes. Because once the story gets told, I'm the one who changes it out of wanting to own it in his perspective of entertainment. This is just the way it's been for every generation's kids. We hear elders' ways of life and warnings and dismay that shit. Writing your own Bible is important to decipher what lies told, but watch how far you go in your mind. It's like a tightrope. You can fall to your death or live. It's all in focus. And you can call me bogus, but God has lives that's chosen. Like how Noah was only saved because his generation and family were all faithful to the Lord, saving him for the flood of tragedy. Becoming madly in love with a woman is a fallacy unless you love her for her flaws. Then you can say, marry me. Naturally, I love, so this is how I must be actively. Plus, love is what made me come to be, so love must make reality. And I do love my body, but the reaction it gets is nasty, making me do bad things to it, subconsciously attacking me. An outside distraction made me hate what I am naturally. And now I kill myself hoping to make myself happy. What the fuck is going on with this world? If I could give my heart to a girl and have her thrown in the garbage like dirt and watch everything around me be happy and smile at me, thriving off my pain to help them all escape their tragedy. So they tell me to be happy too, and I'm like, fuck you. Because the fact that bottom feeders make them gum on my shoe, but the anger in my heart just makes me grumpy and rude and segregates us apart with all these trust issues. And it's just tissue that can feed my eyes, because see, the tree can making me cry, so make me angry inside. And if I don't get angry, I get high. And if not, I just continue with the life till it'll sober break me till I die. What the fuck? Is there ever a correct way, a right path for the life of a psychopath who was childfree made mad? Was he supposed to not stab and twist off Barbie doll heads and just laugh when they joked about him, making him sad? Was he supposed to fight back? But what if he can't joke? What if his family hurt him and physical hurt is all he knows? He wouldn't have verbal jokes. He just want to stab you in your throat. So when you tell him you're too sensitive, you're talking to a ghost. His life is all he knows that exists, making him who he is. And he's just supposed to adapt to society bullshit. Society should adapt to him. Either that or not be his friend. That's the only way to hang around, just to feed off his loneliness. Social relationships are fucked up with all this play pretend. Growing a human being all crazy and fucked in his head because he doesn't know who's real and who's not. And makes him feel like he's all alone, depending on his family is hot. Because when they die, who will be left to make him feel loved? If he feels the world hates him, that'll shake his ass up, making the Lord wake his ass up, saying no man is an island. I speak in the silence when everything is quiet. I'm your guidance. They say you should never take gifts. That's surprising because God speaks to you through others, and by others they're provided. Meaning you use your heart, decide if the gift should be taken. That's why Jesus only says some, while others held hatred. I lose my patience when the task's too hard, but why why do I? Why is it instinct to give up on something I need to survive? If it's not immediate, I won't see it as an ingredient. Immediate meaning what my senses can perceive as a threat. That's why most die, because they chose to listen to their own mind and fall asleep when they're tired instead of finishing the job. That's why it's hard for me to get high. I got too much stuff to do to be puffing and feel like I just want to be comfortable. I trust the school to show me as the reason, when in fact they say I shouldn't puff trees because my brain will be leafless. Like a Bernie Mac episode on the Bernie Mac show, parenting to children I don't own, teaching them what I know. This is comedy. Hopefully I won't die 50 years old from all this comedy that's only here to entertain my dome. Niggas knew I was out of control and crowd control when I flowed with that nigga Porter Rock breaking it down during the show. He broke the turntables and took the turntable home despite the promoter but not paying us our weight in gold. You told niggas you wasn't game, but they wasn't showed. Therefore, only knowing didn't make them condone. A good author knows this to be able to reach his reader. If you write about beating them, extremely detail the words, put a theater on the page and let their mind reel occur and play the visual of your movie called You Eat the Dirt. My penis spurts squirm on the cheek. She screams and curses about me being a jerk for making her face even worse, like a washcloth and soap don't work. I'm smoking perp, turning the TV up to drown down her angry ass words I don't hear what I don't want to listen to. And if that's pissing you off, then you can suck me again and I won't jizz on you. I'll piss on you to make you even angrier and offended you. So when you hit me, this could reach danger and I got a ditch for you. I'm not a stranger to shovels of anger and trouble. I'm Alexander the Great whenever it comes to a puzzle. You can't tame something faceless with a muzzle, you dumb. You better off being an ape building the shuttle to the sun. I love to have fun, but I gotta run. The war's coming, and if you ain't running with me, you'll still be running into something. Mycelium is an organism that produces fungus, and when the fungus gets touched, it sends signals to under it, warning the roots of an intruder. Just like if a bug touches a plant, the plant attracts the bug's predators to it. So what do you think we doing whenever we be polluting and then get a random fire or earthquake sent to us? I'm not a tree hugger, but nature's for sure my mother, and I love her. I'd rather feed her with comfort than make her suffer. I worship her with ground that I'm able to walk on, and the air that I'm able to talk from. Her heart is warm, but she storms when we try to control how she feels. The sky throwing lightning bolts on telephone pole trees like eels while we stand still and use signs for why it happened, which is the reason why it happened, just trapping us in a pattern. And why should it matter on a day that it's too late? Because I get to say I told you so right before I escape. I release my sideways 8 just for this exact day. 300 bars, each layer of me all up in your face. 300 bar layer do say.